Something amazing came across my desk this morning, Garrett.
Oh,
I received a top secret envelope that said that Brendan Fraser is interested in doing another Mummy film. Latest reports have said that he's interested in doing this because Tom Cruise messed the previous one up so bad. What is your feedback on that?
well, that's funny considering he messed up Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, so I don't know how far that criticism goes. Actually, to be fair,
It's
it wasn't Brendan Fraser's fault for Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, but
That's fair. There was a lot wrong with that movie, not just Brendan Fraser.
I'd rather watch Tomb of the Dragon Emperor than the Tom Cruise mummy, so I mean,
100%.
there you
And
go.
I absolutely want to see another Mummy movie. I would love it if Brendan Fraser came back. I think a couple things. I think it's a great way for him to get back into the actions thing. I know he's doing a lot of drama right now. I think it's a perfect segue for him to get I think he's back on track, and I think this is like the perfect vehicle for him to go full speed. Like, you're doing great. Now let's just send you into the stratosphere of stardom. Like, go
Yeah.
for it.
And I definitely want to see a change in, like, the story for another one.
Yeah, I'd
'Cause,
be
like,
interested.
I
Yeah.
mean, drop the Imhotep stuff and just go for, like, a new mummy lore. I don't know. If
A reboot?
if Universal's
Yeah.
doing it, reboot it with the classic mummy.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
You could do your Dark Universe, just do it with Brendan Fraser only. That would be incredible.
It really would. At the end, he just goes, instead of "I am Iron Man," "I am Frasier." He just snaps away.
That's when Kelsey Grammer from the TV show Frasier steps in. It's like, I have beef with that. Anyhow, welcome back to the Drive Back Podcast. My name is Garrett,
And I'm Adrian.
and today we've got to phone a friend. Adrian, what is that?
Ring, ring, ring. That's when a friend called me and told us to go ahead and watch a movie that we just haven't watched in a while. It's always a way for us to get different movies up in the queue of endless films. And this week, Garrett, go ahead and tell them what we've got going on.
Well, first off, I thought you were going to say banana phone after saying ring, ring, ring. So you did
Wow,
surprise me
throwback
there.
to 2007.
And I am concerned that you have a phone with an alarm, a ringer that goes ring, ring, ring.
It's my own voice. I actually said it.
Oh, did you just record your own voice? You're like, I'm getting a phone call. Ring, ring, ring. Well, this week, we're taking a look at The Scorpion King, which, fun fact, is Dwayne Johnson's first leading role in a movie ever.
Correct.
And actually set a world record at the time for the highest salary for the first-time role for a leading man ever at $5.5 million.
That's actually crazy considering where he is now, that he also just broke a record in his first film.
It's also crazy now because you look at Dwayne in this movie, and he looks like a teenager compared to what he looks like.
He looks
now.
like 13 in this movie.
He's like, now he looks like unhealthy, like muscular, and back then, like he was pretty muscular. I
I think
wouldn't say
he's
it was-
just. I think he still looks healthy, but I think he's definitely like the age is definitely its struggle to maintain the stature. Like, I think he's definitely pushing his body to its absolute limits every day.
Yeah, I don't think he could touch his back. Like, I think his like arm would be stuck in a vertical position now.
I think him working out as much as he does is like me standing outside in Antarctica for an extended period of time. My body just cannot keep up.
Okay, interesting question. Do you think that, like, this is when he was in the WWE still, I believe?
Yeah.
Do you think the WWE was holding him back from his true potential? We saw him get a lot more muscular when he left the WWE.
I don't know if they were holding him back, but I think definitely like he has more time to focus on his fitness now. I think there was a lot of showmanship and a lot of rigor with WWE. Like, you're constantly doing these shows and it's like a full schedule. Whereas now I think he's got like literally he wakes up at like what now 2 a.m. eats like an entire pig and then works out for like 7 hours. I think that's his whole day.
Come here, babe, I need to eat breakfast. Jesus. I wasn't expecting the whole pig comment. Well, Adrian, I think we should jump into this movie and go ahead and get it out of the way, if that doesn't spoil how I think about the movie. Well, The Scorpion King was released in 2002, and it was directed by Chuck Russell and stars Dwayne Johnson, Stephen Brand, and Kelly Hu. A desert warrior rises up against the evil army that is destroying his homeland. He captures the enemy's key sorcerer, takes her deep into the desert, and prepares for a final showdown. I don't know where that sentence was going, but it definitely wasn't what I thought was going to go in the last half. So, no real surprises. This is tied to the world of Brendan Fraser's The Mummy films,
That's correct.
which is referenced in The Mummy Returns. This character is in that same movie, which...
He looks different, though, in that movie.
Very different, because apparently CGI had advanced a whole lot in the same year. Gotta real quick off the bat though. Actually, I guess we'll wait until we go into spoilers. But quick spoiler-free thoughts though, Adrian. What do you think of Scorpion King?
Yeah, so I saw this a long time ago. I think when it came out, I'm not too sure, but I actually will say so. This movie isn't like the best by any means, but there were parts of it that I did find really fun and also surprising on a look back. There was some stuff that I definitely thought was either worse or like cheaper than I saw on this watch through for sure.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I remember watching this as a kid. Right after I had watched the Mummy and the Mummy Returns. And I think this came in like the multi-pack DVD that I had or whatever when I was younger.
The trilogy movie night pack or whatever.
Yeah, before the Tomb of the Dragon.
The Fraser experience at Target.
The Brendan Fraser experience.
Or one of the movies doesn't even include him. That's hilarious.
You can still feel his essence. But I mean, I kind of enjoyed the movie when I was younger. It was like, oh, I'll watch it because it's included with the Mummy movies. And then just never really stuck.
It's like an action movie. Yeah, it's just generic.
Literally, it feels like a straight-to-DVD or straight-to streaming action movie that was released in theaters.
Yeah.
Which I don't think that's a good thing. While Dwayne Johnson shows like little twinges, little peeks into what the leading man he would become, I definitely think he was inexperienced at the time.
Yeah, I think he carries it okay for such like a early showing, but I definitely think he's improved. I think he's a better actor now than he is in this movie for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he's a lot more bearable to watch. I'm not saying he's unbearable in this movie, but like he's a lot more like easily digestible.
Yeah.
But whether he deserves to be at the top of the world, that's one thing. That's another thing to talk about. But that's for another day. But let's go ahead and dive into some spoilers. The movie is available to watch if you have Peacock Premium, is where you're able to watch this movie. If not, you're going to have to rent it, which, I mean, it's probably bargain bin Amazon rental. I don't know how much it costs, but it can't be that expensive. But let's go ahead and dive into some spoilers. And the one thing I wanted to talk about earlier is that the story for the movie doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Because it says this is thousands of years before the pyramids. Yet, in The Mummy Returns, he attacks Egypt.
Yeah, but I think doesn't he start living for a really long time?
Not until he has the whole Oasis thing, which is after he fights Egypt for the first time and loses. And then he goes wandering out into the desert, and the god's like, hey, you're kind of a cool guy, and I saw you on SmackDown once, so I'm going to give you scorpion powers.
Oh, wait, did they not exist until the pyramids happened?
I mean, maybe they did. Maybe my history's completely wrong, but I thought I remember him attacking a city with pyramids in The Mummy Returns. So I'm like, how does that make sense?
My history might be wrong, but I think like the pyramids weren't the first pyramids.
True, but I think when you think pyramids, you just kind of think Egypt. And to be fair, they didn't say thousands of years before Egypt. So, I mean, maybe I'm wrong here, but it just kind of felt odd time-wise, like it was a fan fiction off of the second Mummy movie, but, you know, it's neither here nor there. But what are some spoiler thoughts you got, Adrian? What are we thinking here?
Some spoiler thoughts?
I mean, do you like high wing? Do you like low wing? No.
Okay, we're going into spoiler warning if you haven't seen it.
Weird.
Oh, you did it! Wow, here I am. I would have left had I known the spoilers.
We exude professionalism.
I think this movie. First thing that I noticed right off the bat is I thought this movie was like you said, like a straight to TV movie. The budget was clearly way higher on this movie than I remember it being. Like some of the sets were very elaborate. and the costuming and all that stuff was pretty crazy to see. The other thing that I noticed is that the combat was pretty good. It's better than I remember it being in the third Mummy movie for sure. I think whoever was on stunt work on this one, I found it super entertaining and very almost like martial art esque, like all the practical throwing people through things and stuff like that. I found that really really fun. Um, but the rest of this plot is just a bunch of plot conveniences on top of each other.
Yeah.
It's just like scene after scene is like, oh, thank goodness there's this catapult that can launch me from tower to tower, which is probably what they used as the inspiration for Fast and Furious 7 when they did the Dubai tower jump in the car. He was probably like, I know what to do.
Sure.
But I think there were parts of it that were fun. Like I thought the music was pretty killer, to be honest. I know it was like way over the top, but it would literally have him like, it was like so weirdly Egyptian themed, but also not Egyptian themed music. Like it was so in the middle.
So like
they
ancient civilization music, which is
kind of, but it was
what
also
would
like
be.
no, it was also like super rock at the same time. Like it was also like heavy metal at times.
I got. Let me look up and see. On the score while you're.
Because I thought it was really really fun. It kind of reminded me of Titan AE, where it was just like egregious rock over like random scenes. But I think that kind of stuff is probably the only thing that makes it fun. Like if you just want to have a silly time, I think this is a good movie. This is one of those movies where I think if you want to watch it for fun, like you've got friends over and you want to watch it and have a good time laughing at something and doing that, I think this is an excellent movie to do that. I think it certainly has the Friday night movie potential. And because of that, I will say it's worth a rewatch. I had seen it a long time ago, like I said, and I think it held up okay. Obviously, it's not like an incredible film, but I think it was fun.
I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna like, there are one of the biggest problems I have with this movie is that it has, excuse me, its story is so recycled. Like every action revenge movie has the same plot, and it's the same thing we see in a lot of D&D games too. Like your players started out to do something, they get caught, and then they get released or they survive somehow, and then they gotta go get revenge, and they get some big reward out of it. It's literally every revenge movie ever, and there's a lot of movies that do it better, but there are also a lot of movies that do it worse too. I'm not gonna say that it's completely awful. It's just bland.
Yeah, but I think there is a reason why this movie is still in the conversation to this day. Like, it does have some niche factor. Maybe it's just that X factor that just makes it entertaining. Like, if you talk about the Scorpion King, people are like, oh my gosh, like, that movie's so bad. Or, like, that CGI scene from when he turns in the other movie's crazy. Like, it's just a movie that is fun. It's just got it. And maybe it is The Rock's magic. Maybe that is why he's still highest paid, because I'll tell you, almost every movie except Rampage that I've seen with Dwayne The Rock Johnson is a relatively good time. It's like you know what you can expect when you go to the theater. He delivers every time, and this is the start of that, and I think it still holds up.
I would disagree. Again, he's definitely again, like he said, he has the peaks. We get the peaks into what the leading man he'll become, but I don't think he's quite there yet. And I think he kind of stands out among everyone. He's absolutely massive, and I feel like everyone else is like, except for Michael Clark Duncan, everyone else
he's
is
also
super
huge
small.
in this movie. Yeah,
but I definitely was distracted in the beginning when all the remaining free tribes meet, and there's whoever the king is that calls them all together. The king is played by the same actor who played the sheriff of Nottingham in Robin Hood Men in Tights, the Mel Brooks comedy one, and I'm just like, hey. And that's all I could think about for like the entire sequence. I literally had to rewind because I was looking it up on IMDb. I was like, is that him? It is him! And then I was like, oh wait, what did I miss? And then I had to go back. Also, the scientist guy with the catapults, played by Bernard Hill, same guy who played the ship captain in Titanic, and the King of Rohan in Lord of the Rings.
That's fun.
Yeah, which I was like, what are you doing, man? You've done so many better films. I mean, paycheck's a paycheck, if it was helping out at the end of the day. But, when I was younger, I had fun with this movie. And now it's just a bleh action movie. I feel like this is even low quality for something that shows up on Netflix. Like, if I had to compare this to similar movies, it would probably be like The Old Guard, the superpower one with Jamie Foxx with the pill.
Power.
Is it Power? It's Power. Yeah. And then like The Gray Man and Extraction and movies that are similar like that. And even those, I would say, are mostly better. I don't know. It doesn't do it for me.
I'll say this, and that's totally fair. Go ahead.
The movie does give us the classic "I Stand Alone" by Godsmack from the credits, which is funny because the song is "I Stand Alone," yet he literally has allies through the entire movie. Oh man.
I think this movie, maybe this is just how I kind of give this rating a lot, but I think this movie is one of those ones that it really depends on who you watch it with. Like, if you get a group of friends together that are really fun to crack jokes at movies with, and you get a couple drinks going, you have some popcorn, and you can just get a good group of people going that are all, like, excited to watch it and just unnecessarily ready, I think you'll have one of the best times ever with this movie. I think it's got like wild action. It's got really dumb jokes. It's got a really wild plot. It's got like crazy cheesy death action scenes that happen. And I just think I think this is who you surround yourself with while watching this will make or break it for sure.
I could definitely see that. I think, if I was sitting there with you and we had some alcohol flowing, it would be a much better time.
But like, think about this: if you lived up here and then I sent out a text that said Scorpion King night, and you had to come dressed in somewhat of a Scorpion King garb, and I made a cocktail called the Scorpion King, doesn't that just sound like an amazing night?
I would show up as the sorceress in like my little shingle bikini.
Or the bathtub scene.
Yeah, just like hair extensions.
Yeah, and then you're just naked otherwise. And I open the door and you go, well, are you going to kill me or are you just going to stare?
All seductively outside your front door. And
then I
slam the door shut.
I walk back in. Gosh, Garrett can't make it, guys. Such a bummer.
I fly all the way up there. I'm so dedicated that I fly up there in costume.
The whole time.
I get kicked off the plane.
You definitely have to fly Spirit or Delta to make it on the plane like that.
Most likely. Or Virgin.
That's true. I think that was really good. I think that's super funny, and I think that's the kind of thing, like, if you want, you can make this movie fun. Yeah. It is very easy. Like, you just got to get people together. You got to make it a thing, and I guarantee you'll have one of the best times. It just depends on how you want to watch. Like, if you go in, as we kind of did, which is, like, to critically watch this movie, it's by yourself, like I did, it's not going to be as fun. Like, you definitely need the vibe.
Yeah. But I do have to provide the counterpoint, which I have provided before. A movie shouldn't have to have the stipulation of alcohol or friendship to make it better.
That's just true. It's very true, but I also think that it does give a movie some points. Like, there is a way to watch this movie where it is very fun, and I think that is creditable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, it's not, I guess what I mean by that is, like, it's not just a bad movie. Like, I've given the review of movie is not fun with friends, it's not fun by yourself, it's just not. But a movie that is fun with friends is a better movie to me than that movie. So that's kind of where I give those points to.
Sure, absolutely. I got really nothing else to say, though. I don't know about you.
No, that's it.
You know what? Hey, I'll go first, bud.
Okay.
I'll take this bullet for you. I'll you're the president. I'll dive in front of you and take that bullet.
Olympus has fallen.
I think it'd be funny if you shout "London has fallen" and you're saving the American president. It's like what?
The second
The
one.
second one. And there was a third one. What was the third one called?
Oh my gosh. I literally watched
Like
it just
Tatum. No, it was. No, it wasn't.
No, that was there was a third one, but
No,
that was a different one.
White House Down is the one with Channing Tatum, and
Correct.
then Olympus Has Fallen is the Gerard Butler one, and then
Correct.
it was London Has Fallen.
And then I think there was a third one.
There was a third one where he took the blame for something. We got to look this up.
I'm looking it up right now.
I wanna
It's
say Butler.
Angel Has Fallen.
That's what it was, not Butler.
Because Gerard is America's angel.
Even though he's from Scotland. It's like, Ryan Reynolds is America's treasure. He's from Canada. Shut up. But as far as this movie, though, I said Scorpion King's a bland, forgettable, and ultimately routine action movie that even Dwayne Johnson can't save. I gave it a 30.
Yeah, that's fair. I think this movie gets a bunch of points based off of how it's possible to watch this. I might do a Scorpion King night here. Who knows? It seems like it'd be a blast. And because of that, I give this movie a 65 just because I think it has a lot of potential to be fun.
Wow. Alrighty. Well, that's going to bring us to an end for our scores. Let's transition to our favorite new bit, Guessing the Critic and Audience Scores. We got to come up with a better name for that. Now, Adrian, what do you think?
Do we?
Yeah. What do you think the critic score is for The Scorpion King? On Rotten Tomatoes.
28.
28. You're a little low, actually. The critic score for The Scorpion King is a 41%.
Wow. Critics got something right for once.
I wouldn't go that far. Critics on Rotten Tomatoes said action adventure doesn't get much cheesier than The Scorpion King. That's it. Apparently. What do you think the audience score was?
I think this will be a 66.
In a wild turn of events, Adrian is the most off he's ever been. The audience score was a 37%.
Lower than critics.
Yeah.
That seems to be happening a lot. I really got to readjust my strategy.
Now, transitioning to Metacritic. What do you think the critic score is on Metacritic?
37.
You're closer, but not quite there. It is a 45 on Metacritic.
Wow. Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic lined up.
Pretty close, yeah. 41 and 45. So, dang. The top user review on Netflix just says, I liked this movie.
That's about how it goes.
Wow. Roger Ebert gave this movie a positive review. He gave it a 63, saying, here is a movie that embraces its goofiness like a get-out-of-jail-free card.
Yes. Yes, Robert.
I love this New York Times one, though. New York Times gave it a 10 on Metacritic. They said, as this chaotic barrage of muscle-flexing, swordplay, fireballs, crude digital effects, and comic book quips hurls itself off the screen, it's like having several garbage cans clogged with stale pizza, lukewarm cola, soggy french fries, and greasy ketchup-stained napkins emptied over your head.
Wow.
I got some respect for the New York Times now, even though I don't think it's that bad. But that's just one of the funniest reviews I've read in a while. Adrian, if anyone out there hasn't followed the podcast yet, where can they do that?
At the Drive Back Podcast, anywhere your heart desires. We're there. Whether you want to do that, we post every Monday. If you want to go on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Overcast, whatever you got, every Monday there. On YouTube, we post every Monday as well. But we have some exclusive videos here on YouTube if you want to check those out, like tier lists and collection reviews and things like that. So our latest post is the Halloween Horror Nights. We did go ahead and rank every single maze. So if you are interested in going to that, or you just are too scared to go and you might just want to watch kind of what we did. We don't show anything like too graphic or anything like that. We more just talk about it. So if you're kind of trying to get up to speed on that, that video exists.
Yeah, just a fun little quick review about a great time that we had in the heart of LA. Upcoming next week, we got a show and tell. I love show and tells. And as always, the movies have nothing in common. And it's going to be probably our most interesting show and tell ever. Probably compared to like Bridge to Terabithia and The Death of Stalin, how much these movies have in common.
I would like to come out and say that I typically pick the movies first.
As you have said before, yes.
Yeah, but that's your choice to make them so unalike.
You know what?
I just feel like every time you go like, as always, and that's your decision. Like, that's your thing.
You know what? Hey, I love getting called out on my BS. I love it. But next week, Adrian has selected the film White Chicks, which, holy cow. Let me go ahead and pull up Just Watch real quick and let you know where that is in fact streaming, if it is streaming at all. White Chicks is streaming on HBO Max. So if you have HBO Max, it is streaming on there. And then, in a shocking turn of events, I have selected for us to watch Mandy, the Nicolas Cage starring revenge horror movie, which is going to be streaming on Shudder, if you have access to Shudder, or on AMC Plus through Amazon Prime. That's where it is streaming. If you want to rent it, it's the usual rental price anywhere you want to go. But that's going to be an end for this episode. We got some awesome stuff coming up, so make sure you watch the next couple episodes. We got some fun stuff working on, especially our Halloween episode. Can't wait to do that. So
yeah.
But that's going to be the end of this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. We love you so much. We'll see you next time here on The Drive Back. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Drive Back. Make sure to be on the lookout for new episodes every Monday, and make sure to follow us on social media.